Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rod from Diaspora Kicking the Bobo. It's coming to you with a long awaited episode. I haven't done anything in about 6 months. My grandson called me and said, "Hey, Papa, I've been trying to find new videos of you, and I checked. It doesn't seem like you did anything in the past 6 months." I went, "Yeah, when the winter starts, I kind of go into seclusion, hiding, but you know, I'm back and going to be coming to you with some new content, new episodes, talking about different things here. But one of the things, that's been on my mind is the fact that, everybody's been talking about scams, and how that, people are getting scammed out of land, out of Ghana, out of Liberia, out of Gambia, and different things like that. And I have feelings about that because I'm in that age where if my money is taken from me, I can never recoup that money. If $15,000 is taken from me, I'll never get that money back. Especially with people who are retired, they can never ever get that money back. And that is why it is atrocious how people would take advantage of people. But guess what? You got to be able to use common sense, and not to allow people to use you by doing your due diligence, checking people out. And guess what? Some of the best of us get conned. I've been conned, not out of any big money, but I've been conned. It wasn't the first, and it probably ain't going to be the last. But the thing about it is to try our best to do our due diligence, And, one of the things I think about conning is, and scamming, the fact that when people try to rush you to do things, that's a big sign of scamming. Take your time, do your research, Even the land which I bought over there in Africa, it appears to be legit. I've been there, I've seen it. Nobody has come to me and said, "Hey, this is my land." You know what I'm saying? So you never know. Once you start building on it, that's when they come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, this is my land." It's almost like they know that you got to pay them now. You have to pay them, because if you don't, then you can waste all that money on the land. So, but one of the things is, we got to do our due diligence, check, make sure, and when people are trying to scam you, do a background check on them. Ask other people about them, Ask other people, have you ever worked with this person before? They should have portfolios. Anybody that doesn't have a portfolio, either this is their first time doing something, and you should be able to say, okay, if this is your first time doing something, then thank you for telling me, and I'll see if I really want to work with you. But if they don't have a portfolio or anything, then don't work with them. They should be able to say, I work with this person, I work with that person, this is what I've done. If not, then don't work with them. You should be fully aware of who you're working with in doing your job. The problem is that when you are working with some countries, some companies in Liberia, is that they don't have a portfolio of things that they finished, because of the fact that everybody is taking their time building. They start a project, then don't work on it for another year, then they work on it, and then they don't work on it for another year. It takes them about 4 or 5 years. So it's hard for people to have a portfolio on what they have done. Because if you can't give me a portfolio of what you have done, then how do I know that you're going to do the job right? I don't want to see anything half done. Or come right out and say you have not completed a project yet, and give me the choice to see whether I want to work with you or not. you know. But, just because a person is honest doesn't mean that they're not doing anything wrong and not doing it the right way. You got to check on all of that stuff, you know. And oh yeah, why don't you? I want you to subscribe to my channel. And here's my logo. I just got started getting my T-shirts and hoodies done. My logo. When you watch my YouTube channels at the top, you see that I got it done. It's on the front and the back. I'm pretty proud of it. Finally got it done. And going to be working with those. I'm also going to be buying. Not only have I bought land in Africa, but I'm buying land here in America also. Because I think it's important to have a second option. And we got to stop listening to YouTubers, because sometimes YouTubers will tell you to do things and they're not doing it themselves. For instance, they'll say buy land here, but they haven't bought any land there. They'll say build a property here, but they are not building properties there. They'll say this is what you need to do, and then next they'll say this country is the best country. Then next thing you know, 4-5 months later, they moving to another country. Those are the people you don't want to listen to. If you're not invested, don't talk to me. If you haven't done anything, don't talk to me. You either have to have bought land to show me that you're living in Africa, or you're doing something in Africa, or you can start building in Africa. Then I'll listen to you. But if you're just trying to tell me, oh, visit this place because it's nice, it's good, and the land is cheap and different things like that, I don't think you should listen to those people. Scammers. Because what they want is you to send them money so you can go through them, and you really don't know whether or not they're going to do what they're supposed to do with the money. Now you are out of money. And throughout history, we all know that the old folks is the people that they scam the most. That goes for ministries, that goes for people trying to buy land, want you to move, want you to invest. The elderly is their victims. And those are the ones who cannot afford to lose all that money. And we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars here. How would you feel if all your grandmother have is $50,000 and somebody conned her out of $40,000 of it, and she could never get that money back? Or he could never get that money. That's money gone. That's money that they've been saving up for 30 years. And somebody took it just like that. I can remember the time when I was saving up to buy a car. And I saved $15,000 to buy a car. And somebody stole that car, took it in less than 30 seconds. Took me years to save up for that car, and they took it in less than 30 seconds. Wow. And I hadn't even put insurance on it yet. So that was a big major loss for me. So I know how it feels to lose. But yeah, don't listen to YouTubers all the time, because they're not professionals in their field. Anybody can pick up a camera and start talking and start saying to you that they understand and they know when they don't. It is not their profession. Somebody in one country is telling you about somebody in another country. Unless they got boots on the ground investigating what's going on, then they don't know. It ain't easy. But you got to do your due diligence. And please, don't buy land and you haven't visited the place. Fortunately, I bought some land and didn't visit the place, but I did my due diligence checking on the person. And I shouldn't have did that. I should have went there first. Most of my land I went and bought while I was there. You got to check. If you can't afford to go visit the place to check this place, then maybe you need to wait because you can't afford to be there. You got time. There's some things I want to do, but I got to hold off on it because right now we got so much scamming going on that the people won't believe you because so much, you got too much scamming going on. And these are people that you think are nice. Just because their personality seems nice behind the camera, that doesn't mean that that's who they are. You got to make sure that you know what you're doing. Scamming ain't right. But I'm also going to be talking to my daughter asked me to do something in my grandchildren. One thing that I'm very good at is that's biblical prophecy. I'm going to start doing some prophecy on my channel. I am going to go through the book of Revelation from the first chapter to the last chapter, verse by verse is what I do, and I do it well. And then after I do that, I'm going to start going through the Bible from Genesis 1 through Revelations, the last chapter, and I'm going to be explaining what went on, how it went on. I'm even going to be explaining the cultures, why they did what they did. It's going to be nice. I've done it. It takes about 5 years to get through. I've done it before, and it's very exciting. And stuff like that I want to share with you also, especially to this thing about all this scamming, is going on. But like I say, I got my my logo going on. I'm proud of it. This is West Africa. I got one for East Africa too. It's cool. I got white. It's in white. I'm gonna get it in blue and black. It's cool. But hey, like I said, I want you all to know that love you. Keep watching. Thumbs up. Subscribe, and I will see you next time. I'm not gonna let off on doing the videos, anymore. I'm gonna try even not to do it in the winter time because hopefully this winter's be my last winter here in Minnesota. I'm not gonna move from Minnesota just during the winter time. I'm not gonna move from America. I'm gonna, go back and forth from America to Africa. I'm not gonna be like these other people, just move. I don't believe in that. Like I said, a lot of people got different experiences with America. I'm not leaving America because I hate America, because I don't hate America. My forefathers helped build America. I wouldn't let them down by just moving. You know what I'm saying? But hey, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next episode. All right, thank you. Bye.